We're live right now on the Facebook page, on the app, on your smart speakers and on the website. And plenty for us to get our teeth into tonight. We'll look back on all of the weekend's football from across Pembrokeshire, including a big win for Milford United at Hakin on Saturday and a draw on Friday night for Haverfordwest County. Our guest will be the manager of Sport Pembrokeshire, Matthew Freeman, and we'll get into the weekend's rugby in part 3. It was a nail-biter at Twickenham. Is Warren Gatland right to call for patience for his Welsh young side? And was Scotland harshly denied a win against France right at the end? And can anyone stop Ireland winning the Grand Slam? That's all to come between now and 9 o'clock. Fraser Watson, evening to you. How are you?
Evening, Ben. Very good. A jam-packed sporting weekend, wasn't it? Actually worked on the Saturday, Sunday night, but I did get the Haverfordwest County game in down the meadow on Friday night and Haverfordwest St David's on Saturday afternoon, which is why I'm relieved that Thomas here is still not back in the studio, but we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, no, we will. And we heard some reaction to that Haverfordwest St David's game in the first hour of the show. That was a nail-biter as well, by a point, wasn't it? So, yeah, we'll do some local rugby before 9 o'clock. Tom, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Not too bad at all. Again, great time observing sport, and I even threw a park run as well.
Oh, good stuff. Which one do you do, Tom?
The Haverfordwest one, around the race course. But beat a minute off my time, and that shows just how long it's been since I've done 2 in a row.
Can't have times anymore, I believe. Can't have times.
Oh, could you not? It's not a race.
They've been wiped out. For,
yeah, course records have gone, I think, haven't they?
You're upsetting people who don't win.
Yeah. Well done, though, Tom, for getting out on Saturday morning. Excellent stuff. And as I say, we'll get into the rugby in part 3 of the show tonight. Plenty locally and from the Six Nations weekend to get our teeth into. But let's start with local football, and we'll start in the Pembrokeshire Leagues from Saturday, I think. And Fraser, in Division 1, there was one result that really did jump out. We featured Milford United, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago on the show. Scott Reid scored a hat-trick and they had a 4-2 win at Hakin. That's some result, that, wasn't it?
Some result for Milford United, and they've really been the surprise package of this season. As we said, they've come up, they're safely going to keep their place in Division 1, the challenge towards the top end, if anything. They've got a West Wales Cup quarter-final coming up against Penland defending champions, but, they won't fancy that trip, and they're still in the Senior Cup as well, and, they won, actually, in pre-season in the Joe Lennon Cup final at the Obs. That was their first win there for a long time, and you could almost write that off. I'm not saying it's insignificant. It's an important tournament in those parts, but it is pre-season. It is technically a friendly, but to go there in the league and win 4-2 is another matter. And look, Scott Reid has got tons of ability. He always has. A fully fit Scott Reid is an asset to any Pembrokeshire team. He could probably even play at a high level and be an asset. He's a goal scorer. And to see him doing that and fulfilling his talent, still going Milford is great. And, I'm not actually surprised when you look at the calibre of the side they have. If Scott Griffiths, long-time player, he's been on this show, classy performer, that they're doing so well. But it's the first time in a long time. And Milford United, we've got to remember, this is a big club that we're talking about. This is a former Welsh League club. We put a lot of emphasis on teams like Haverfordwest and Pembroke Borough back in the day. They had a big thing going there at Marble Hall. They were Welsh League. They elevated a lot of players in terms of standard they played at. And it's good to see them back at the top end of Pembrokeshire football. And they're a threat now. They're in the hunt for those 2 cup competitions.
Yeah, it was Andrew Burgoyne we spoke to on the show a couple of weeks ago. And he said, on the pitch, things were looking pretty good. And we asked him, what does a good finish to the season look like for the second part of the season for Milford United? And I think, Fraser, he would have taken a 4-2 win away at Hakin, wouldn't he?
Oh, absolutely. And when they were 3-0 up, of course, Hakin started coming back and it's 3-2. And you wondered, was it going to be one of those Hakin comebacks? But to actually keep their composure in that situation, I think it was Reedy then who went down and scored his 4th. I'm sure he'll remind you about it if you ask him. He reminded me on Saturday night. To see them actually keep their cool in that situation and come away with 3 points. Bergs will be delighted. He's been at Milford United forever, and it's been a long time since he's seen a win at the Obs, I can promise you that.
Yeah, excellent win for Milford. That Goodwick were 5-0 winners as well, weren't they, against Kilgetty? Title race, is it done and dusted now?
I have to say, I think so. You like to say never in football. They're 2 points clear, Goodwick. They win their 2 games in hand, they go 8 points clear. They've got 8 games to go. Hakin have got 6. Hakin will have to win all 6 to have any chance. I cannot see Goodwick letting this slip. In Surrey, they've got a manager who's too relentless, too focused. Obviously, they've got Sean Pemberton on board now.
Scored.
Yeah, scored. Rhys Darling nearly left, and then ended up staying. He's a crucial figure to them up front. I'd be amazed if Goodwick messed it up from here. So I'm sorry to say, when I mean sorry, we all like to see a close title race go down to the wire, don't we? But they're in complete control of it now, and it's in their own hands. They might deny that it is completely in their own hands now.
Yeah, they'll also be delighted with that Milford United result, won't they?
Yeah.
The other scores from Saturday: Penner Robbins 2, Clarbeston Road 2, Fishguard 1, Neyland 1, Carew 2, Moncton 0, and Tenby Merlin's Bridge was postponed. I imagine that was a waterlogged pitch, was it? Lots of flooding in that part of Pembrokeshire last week, wasn't there? Anything else about those results stand out for you, Fraser?
Yeah, the bottom two, of course, Fishguard and Neyland. Neyland really, Fishguard really adrift at the bottom now. Neyland with so few games left compared to everyone else. It was a game that both sides were desperate to win, to be honest with you. I think it was almost a last chance saloon for Fishguard, and for Neyland, they really needed 3 points. 1-1 as a result that helps neither. That has to be said, especially with Carew winning as well. And you look at Carew and Kilgetty now are only just hovering above the bottom two. But if you look in their games in hand, and I have to be honest, you look at their squad strength, no one's too good to go down. But again, with the games in hand they have, I can't see them going down. I think it looks pretty bleak for Fishguard and Neyland now, I've got to be honest.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on how the rest of the season goes, and we do all the results in the first hour of the show on Pure West Sport. In the West Wales Cup, and then we'll go on to talk about Friday night at the Bridge Meadow for Haverfordwest County. But some Pembrokeshire interest in the West Wales Cup, very much so. We've got an all Pembrokeshire tie, Merlin's Bridge versus Kilgetty, Seaside against Goodwick United, and Milford United home to Penlan or Evans and Williams. Are we going to get a Pembrokeshire winner this year?
Well, 2019, wasn't it? We famously had 3 Pembrokeshire sides in semi-finals. It could happen again. Obviously Merlin's Bridge and Kilgetty both will fancy that. So we're going to have one of those through. Seaside, Goodwick, it's another tough trip for Goodwick. They've gone to Roxburgh, and then you're going to Leslie now. Seaside pedigree in that competition, and remember them knocking out a very, very good Hakin side actually back at a time when Hakin would have been among the favourites of the competition. You would back Goodwick. No, you really would on the road. They're so well vested in these cup competitions now. They're so professional. So I wouldn't be surprised at all for them to go there and win. And then a really intriguing tie. We just touched on it. Milford United against defending champions Penlan. Milford United on the crest of a wave. Especially at home, it's a trip for Penlan. Of course, Penlan are used to away trips. You don't win the West Wales Cup if you're not. But it's a game that will really test them. And it'll be a big occasion down there at Marble Hall. So yeah, are we going to get a Pembrokeshire? And we've got every chance to, Ben. And we've touched on this previously in this show. This competition used to be seen as almost the holy grail. It's not anymore. It is very winnable, and Pembrokeshire sides have realised that. And I think there's a big psychological barrier which has been dismissed in the last few years, and it's great to see. It's no longer a shot to nothing. It's a realistic chance of a trophy now, especially for our better sides.
And those games will be on Saturday, the 2nd of March as well. So we'll keep an eye on those, because that will be exciting for the West Wales Cup. Good Pembrokeshire representation. It could be a good year, as Fraser says. Friday night football on the Oggy Bridge Meadow Stadium. Before the game, there was a chance to meet alpacas. Tom, did you make it down? You didn't, did you, on Friday?
I did make it down. Toby was there with the entertainment, and he got a selfie with the 2 alpacas that were there. A little bit of a tongue-in-cheek reference to Gary Lineker's reference to the Farmers League. So they brought some animals down to the Oggy Bridge Meadow Stadium. But alas, they weren't the good luck charms that they wanted them to be.
No, I think they were from just near Roach as well, weren't they? Fraser, did you get a picture? You're looking a bit sheepish. Did you have a picture with an alpaca?
I missed the alpacas. I was there before kickoff. My boy was actually a mascot, the under-8s team at Haverfordwest, with down as a mascot. Not a lucky one, as it turned out, but he was one of the mascots. But unfortunately, Ben, a disappointing night. It has to be said. Their record crowd actually for the season, which I was told afterwards. And again, from a positive point of view, it is good to see so many local Pembrokeshire faces there, Pembrokeshire players. The Milford United boys are actually down there warning me if they won on Saturday, they wanted to mention. So we're giving you that. But, certainly the local crowd interaction was there. But no, in terms of what Haverfordwest needed, it was disappointing display. If you looked at that first half, and then I'm going to check his name now for the red card, Luke Cummings, sent off, obviously for Pontypridd, and then Ben Fawcett puts Haverfordwest ahead, and at that point they're in control, and you really do think they're going to go on and win the game. And unfortunately, for an error from Zach Jones, a poor one, it has to be said, lead to an equaliser. And in the second half, then you really are expecting Haverfordwest against 10 men to come out and really attack. And I said most of the ball, and you'd expect that against 10 men, wouldn't you? Pontypridd sat deep, and everything happened in front of them. There's very few times when Haverfordwest actually got in behind them, and I think they were limited to 2, maybe two long-range shots in the second half when they went close. Rio Dyer came on, he had an angled shot which came on the outside of the post, but the keeper had it covered anyway. They didn't really carve open any chances considering they had 45 minutes when they were mostly on the front foot, And then, Taylor Crossdale Martel was up front, and I saw him in Europe pre-season. I thought after had signed a real player, you know what I mean? And he's got 8 Welsh Premier League goals this year, which is not to be scoffed at. But I look for a bit more from someone for a team who's trying to get into the top half of the Welsh Premier, and I don't think he offered enough really in the danger area. He dropped deep a lot, he linked up a lot, had some nice touches, but in terms of threat, he didn't carry too much. Ben Fawcett, he got the goal, but he was starved of service a lot in the second half. So it has to be said, it was a toothless attacking display. I have to say that, but not even 3 points off, because Pen-y-Pont have had the deduction, of course. Yeah. They're only off that 7 spot on goal difference at the moment. There's still plenty of games to go. It's by no means a disaster, but they'll want to pick up their form from these first 2 games.
Because on paper, it was a really attacking squad. You thought you'd be showering down the goal. You had Shepherd, you had Whitmore, you had Abrazizi on the wing back there. I thought they was going to be peppered, but it wasn't the reality.
No, certainly didn't materialise in that second half. Pontypridd just sat deep, and I have to say they weren't really tested.
Yeah, and they will be disappointed. They've got, I think, a week off now, and they're back at Barry a week this Friday. That's a 7:45 start. Barry away, and you feel Tony Pennock will be really focusing on that now for a win, just to kickstart this second part of the season, and to try and find some of that momentum that, of course, took them to that famous finish last year. And you do feel, as you said, Fraser, it is still quite close. So just a few wins will all of a sudden make it look better for the Bluebirds. So we'll keep following that ahead of that next game. A word for Liam Cullen, who was a match winner, wasn't he, for Swansea at Hull. I had a feeling Luke Williams needed that win just to settle some nerves. He's not had an easy start, has he? But Cullen continues to be an important man for Swansea, Fraser.
Yeah, you desperately needed that win, actually, Ben. I think it was 3 straight league defeats, and the gap between them and the relegation zone and QPR had gone down. I say them, us, from 11 points to 5. Actually, with QPR's form and picked up, it's now 7 again after Saturday. It was a good finish from Liam Cullen. He's merited his place in the side now. We've debated this so often, but he's certainly, in terms of movement and live wire, and he's added goals to it this season. He's very much a starter. I'm actually going down tomorrow night and on Saturday, for which I fear could be a double-header of massacres. We're playing Leeds United in Ipswich Town. So
you got him for punishment.
Hence why in the final few minutes on Saturday, I was desperately clinging on. I was desperately hoping we cling on to win, knowing I'm XC1. But I expect Liam to start tomorrow night. Not that I think you see too much action up his end.
It's great to see that, given his injury problems he's had over the last 18 months, to see him being a regular is really good, and actually important for Wales too, because he's broken into the squad, hasn't he? Scoring goals in the Championship will do him no harm whatsoever. In the Premier League, are Arsenal going to win it, chaps? They look good, don't they?
Fraser, no.
No? Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, we'll save ourselves months in divisive debate. Yeah, everyone builds up this Premier League as the most exciting, unpredictable league in the world. But basically, things go back and forth for 36, 37 weeks, and at the end of it all, Manchester City win.
Okay.
I'm sorry to spoil it, but let's be honest.
Even Jurgen Klopp came out and said, if you want to talk about a good manager, don't talk to me. I specialise in coming second.
Exactly,
yeah. Okay. All right. But
I take your point, Ben. They really have picked up in the last few games, and they do look good.
No, that will do me. I don't want Arsenal to win it. I just think they do look rather good at the moment, don't they? All right, I'll go with you, Fraser. I'll go with you on that. In more important news, I am still top of the Clever Casuals Fantasy League. But it's getting close. So I'm about 20 points clear now. It's tight. It's very tight. Reece Jones in second spot. Yeah, he's had a good week. I'm just looking at him now. Yeah, he's had a good week. So it's going to be close. And there's 15 more game weeks. So
who's your strikers, mate?
Haaland, Watkins and Darwin at the moment.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah, so we'll see. Anyway, we'll leave that there for now. We're going to do rugby in part 3. Plenty to talk about locally and from the Six Nations. But on the way next, our guest tonight will be the manager at Sport Pembrokeshire, who is Matt Freeman. Really looking forward to talking to him. We'll look back on the Sport Awards from December and ahead, because I'm sure organisation is underway for this year, and find out more about the work Sport Pembrokeshire do. It's not easy when you're involved with a council running something like Sport Pembrokeshire. So we're going to get an insight into that in just a few moments. in part 2 of the show. It's Monday evening and it's Pure West Sport.
Pure West Sport Show, sponsored